Hi, and welcome to the Rice Museum. I'm your host, Garrett Romaine, and today I'm in the Northwest Gallery. Now, this gallery was not part of the original building. It was built later after the main house was finished. And it is kind of an homage to Rudy Chernich, our first curator. Rudy was a god in the zeolite world. He did a lot of work. He has a zeolite named after him. And he wrote the book Zeolites of the World, which is available on PDF. So I always think of Rudy when I'm out in this room. This is dedicated to Northwest rockhounds and Northwest collecting opportunities. So that's what you're going to see when you come out here. A lot of Oregon, Washington, and Idaho material, a little bit from Montana and elsewhere. So above me is Bernie the Thalattosaur, and we already have a video that Greg Carr put together for us explaining some of the work that he did to get Bernie together. Greg was the one that pulled the specimen out of the cliff over in Central Oregon, prepared every bone, and 3D scanned them, and then printed them and came up with this skeleton. He had to use a fellow paleontologist for some of the missing ones. If I can point you over here, and maybe Dylan can follow me, this is our nephrite jade. This is a boulder sent down from the jade deposits out by Osa, Washington. If you remember the giant mudslide not long ago up in Washington, it's in that same area. It's a beautiful piece of jade. And that's nephrite. There's another nephrite slab behind it. In some of these displays, we've got Oregon State fossil, which is the metasequoia. Got some beautiful examples of picture jasper over against the wall from over at Willow Creek in Idaho, and then in the Owyhees. Some of my favorite picture jaspers in that collection. Got some beautiful agates, plume and moss agates. The snakeskin agate is in here. You can see this one. This comes from the Rome area out in southeast Oregon, and it's got that really crazy skin to it. So a lot of really good quartz opportunities. You can see a lot of petrified wood as well. And then over on this side, just everybody thinks of agate, jasper, petrified wood when you think of Oregon, but we do have minerals. This is our state gem. This is the sunstone. And this is the rock you'll find. I've got a spot in my Gem Trails of Oregon book. If you stop at the public area out there in the Rabbit Hills and just find the creek bed and walk down, you'll see giant basalt boulders like this that are just shot through with the sunstone. It's an anarthite, it's a plagioclase feldspar, and it takes a great polish. It's carvable, facetable, just a beautiful stone to work with. As soon as you get out of the car out there, you're standing on tiny, tiny little fragments. And I have collected bags about that size after a day or two out there in the sagebrush. So that's Oregon State gem. And then you can just see we've got all kinds of examples of minerals from Oregon. The Vandering Quarry out in Forest Grove. There's a really strange, I got to look to pronounce this right, Palygorskite from the Ponderay mine up in northern Washington. There's amethysts in there. Just really appreciate some of the crystals that we do find in the Pacific Northwest. Opal from Oregon. Then if you come this way, petrified wood, as if we don't have enough of it in the Murphy Gallery. We also have a really nice display of material. A lot of it is from Washington, ginkgo, wampum, over there where the interstate crosses the Columbia River. A really great tusk up here. And then again, more of the mineralization of the Pacific Northwest. Giant hunk of stilbite, beautiful girthite, this beautiful epidote from the Prince of Wales, the Green Monster Mine there. All kinds of different stuff, beautiful calcite. This cabinsite is from Hell's Canyon where the dams are, striking blue. Got a meta-atunite, which is a uranium ore in an interesting green pattern. So you do see lots of interesting material from Oregon and Washington and Idaho. And then over here, one of my favorites is this quartz amethyst that a couple of collectors, Mike Kaufman and his friend, brought in at a Mystery Mineral Day in late 2018. And they had found it up along Highway 6 around the summit up there. They'd gotten off onto some of the newer logging roads, and they'd found where the cat had put a big crack in the basement rocks, and they found this amethyst, which is not known from the Cascade Range, so it was really, really fun to bring that in. A great scepter from Nevada. This is the Peterson Mountain area over on the Nevada-California border. That's in a lot of rock hounding books. Then you've got some beautiful smoky quartz from Custer County, Idaho. Unfortunately, all that area is locked up and no longer collectible. Some of the beautiful pyrites and quartz from Washington, the Spruce Claim, Spruce Ridge. Just some really amazing stuff comes out of there. Beautiful pyrites, beautiful quartz. That's across from the public area that you can get up at Snoqualmie Pass, Hanson Creek. And then another couple of really noteworthy rocks from the Northwest. The blue here is from Ellensburg. The Ellensburg blue was really famous. Tiffany's was going to make a whole line of jewelry for that, but it turned out there was no mother lode, and so it was really hard for them to put it into production. But there's some great specimens of that. And then also the famous Holly blue agate from down on the Calapooya River by Sweet Home. Marvelous examples of that. Beautiful plume and moss agate from Central Oregon. This is one of the finest angel wing agate specimens I've ever seen. It's got a beautiful blue cast to it, and it truly looks like an angel's wing. Then a little bit further over, we've got some stunning calcite. This is from Montana, but there's some other specimens from some of the road rock quarries in the Willamette Valley, as well as up at Snoqualmie Pass. So there's some pretty good examples of calcite in our state. This is a famous one from the L&L Barite mine. Famed collector Louis Pachelke found these enormous barite crystals in a mine down there. It's no longer open, but he saved some of the best plates, and we got those. But barite's a pretty cool mineral. So finishing up, I want to make sure that you know about our thunderegg collection, because we have one of the finest thunderegg collections in the world. Oregon is the capital of thundereggs out of Richardson's Ranch, obviously ground zero. But we have thundereggs from Germany, from Nevada, Oregon, Washington, Idaho. So we've got a really great collection and some really whimsical ones too. There's just, this is one of the kid favorites, this bird that's opalized from over by Hepner. There's happy faces in here. Here's another bird in a thunderegg. Just really amazing stuff. And there's a pretty good explanation for how we think thundereggs might have formed. We've never really duplicated that in the lab. But you'll see that it's not just agate and chalcedony inside thundereggs. You can get some other interesting mineralization. So this is our meatball over here. This is one of the biggest thundereggs. And this came from Opal Butte over by Hepner. And during the COVID, we're going to have that so that you can't touch it with your hands. But just know that guy's here. Okay, and then as we wrap up, I want to show you the zeolites. Zeolites are an interesting, not well understood group, or not very popular group of the mineral world. They're really common in basalt flows, and since we have tons of basalt in the Northwest, we have tons of zeolites. The Rat's Nest mine over by Chalice is one of the most famous zeolite collecting locales, and you can see this is arguably the world's finest specimen of mordanite. It's got its own little case in there because it's really susceptible to oxygen and moisture in the air. It'll start to turn brown. You can see the pink heulandites, which are magnificent, and then also the natrolite and the stilbite and the mesolite and ancime. He's really put together this amazing collection. It's got a lot of love in it. And another famous collecting locale was over in India. And so we also have a pretty good collection of Indian zeolites, as well as a giant recreation of a cavity that's full of crystals. So just one more thing here. It's probably going to be hard to see because of the glare, but this is a new Titanothere skull. This is called Lumpy. He was on display at OMSI while he was getting prepped by Greg Carr, the same guy that did our burning. And the amazing thing about this Titanothere or Brontothera skull is the teeth. Really did a great job of capturing those. And the reason it's on this pedestal is because that's how you would sometimes find them in the Badlands, there would be this skull on top of a pedestal of the volcanic ash. So that's about it for the Northwest Gallery. I rolled through it pretty fast. It could take up to 30 minutes to an hour to come through these exhibits on your own. We've got an interactive map of locales. We've got a few exhibits up in the front, and it's just really worth your while. I really recommend stopping in here. It's kind of a beacon for Northwest collectors. So hope to see you soon.